Thanks for tuning in. It's Kagiso, Voice of the Crypto, back at it again. We have an exciting guest with us today on stage. Businessman of the Year, bodybuilding championship. I don't know, this guy does it all. He's one person who I know his mentality has allowed him to take over, so many different industries and always be a high-performing individual at the highest level. So when I'm in trade and I feel like I need to, stay in the zone or get tapped in, I give him a call and he gets me pumping once again. Grant Sherwood, lovely to have you, buddy.
Thanks so much, man. It's really cool to be here, man. I'm pumped for this.
Man, listen, I'll tell you one thing. Your journey, you started off around about 10 years ago. But remember, you started off in Santon. You were able to grow that organization to run about 30 offices. Now you get over 1,000 reps all over the country. And you're not only just running that business, but you got multiple businesses. I don't think we have enough time to talk about all the things that he's involved in. But yeah, man, we're trying to get some of that mentality because I feel like, the mentality of, developing and always growing is very much associated with trading itself because it's all about personal growth, being able to, take your strategy, implement it, and sticking to your initial plan when the test of time does come. Yeah. So, my man, tell us a bit about how you started your journey and how you ended up over here.
I think my journey towards being successful and running my own business actually started as an employee. I don't know, I'm sure many people at home who are in the same position looked at, what am I making here? What are these people paying me versus what are my goals and my dreams and my ambitions? And it was a pretty similar moment like that for me where I decided, no ways, I cannot work for somebody. I need to start my own business. I have to live a huge life and I can't do that with an employee salary. So got involved in doing sales, started running a sales company. Obviously, you started working for me a couple of years ago, which was cool. Really cool to reminisce about that. And yeah, man, just obviously fell in love with the process of building a business and fell in love with working with people and so on. And, just been doing that for the last 15 years. And how long does it take to be an overnight success? At least 10 years. So we've been grinding it out for the last 15 years. I'm really excited about where the business is at, but also that's really allowed me to open other businesses and also really grown my confidence that I can handle any kind of business at all because that's what a business does, is it generates income. So just the whole sales business has really prepared me to be able to coach and mentor other entrepreneurs in various industries.
Yeah. So for the viewers that don't actually know, Grant is actually running a consulting business whereby he focuses on working with high-performing individuals towards keeping them in the zone. A lot of times in trading, going through a couple of losing trades, it gets to your mind. You need to be able to go through that and be able to stick to your initial plan and keep on that repetition until you get those winning trades. You know what I'm saying? Good risk management will allow you to take a bit of losses, but still come back and be able to make some profits over that. Yeah. So along with the business consulting has a lot to do with the personal growth. I know you as a person who has helped develop so many people break out of their shells. I've seen you work with people that had low confidence, could not speak to anybody, to them being the center of the room and grabbing all the attention from them being able to build themselves and progressing. And that I feel like you being able to have a consulting business is a skill that will be benefiting to a lot of people out there to help them grow and progress and keep taking over. Yeah.
100%, man. That's something I really enjoy doing is just seeing how people. Because the way I see it is everybody's got unlimited potential deep down inside, and I just need to help people to realize who the fuck they are. Take ownership of who they are and really, push themselves to that next level. Just working in sales, obviously, you're a prime example of, you started working with us, you were also super shy, you were 18 at the time, right?
Yeah. I was quite young, 18,
Yeah, 18 years old, and I know you were quite shy initially and everything, and so we worked with you and got you confident, just speaking to people, started excelling in the sales part, put you into a leadership role, and just kept on teaching you and kept on developing you, but most importantly, you wanted to learn, which is the most important thing in development is that eagerness to learn. And, with that energy, we could just mold you into an incredible leader. And put you in charge of a big sales team that you led quite successfully. So, that for me is the most fulfilling part of what I do is just, seeing how people unleash their potential. Whatever.
Yeah, jumping on that, actually, jumping on that. Going back to when we were actually back in the Granson International, Yeah, there's a leader's manual that I still have up to this day. Yeah, it's one of the things that I refer back to, especially when I feel like my mentality is shifting a bit. I need to look at my foundations as a person, and you from time draw strength from that. You know what I'm saying? So you need to look at the people that have trained you to get to the point that you are at life, and you need to be able to call Grant Sherwood and tell him, hey, listen, this is happening. How do I get back in the zone? And having these people, I feel like it's also what sets a person's value. When you have these type of connections, it always allows you to keep on moving forward and keep on progressing. Talking about, the leader's manual, what is the most important, from the 8 important habits to successful people, which one do you think was the most important? Which one do you want to touch on over here?
So I've actually gone back and just obviously relooked had my life over the last couple of years, and I've developed more of the 5 principles that I teach my clients now in order to live the most successful version of their lives. And like the first thing is just to always focus on fulfillment first. It's not having a work-life balance. It's find the thing that you get the most joy and inspiration from, and do that. Like if you do that, you literally don't work a day in your life. Because if I was to tell somebody who doesn't really like looking after children to make sure that you have enough time to spend at work and balance that with looking after children, you'd be so unhappy and and just wish you were out working or doing whatever. So you need to find fulfillment in the thing that you do. Find the joy in everything, and man, you'll live an inspired life for sure. But the second one is to just understand that you're in control. You're in control of everything, your perceptions, your decisions, and your actions. Okay, you can choose to either perceive this event as positive or negative, like when you're losing trades, right? And you lost a trade, you can either say, oh, fuck, man, or you can say, oh, wow, what did I learn out of this? What is this experience teaching me? Okay, how do I learn and grow from this? That's completely up to you. You're in control of your decisions. Obviously, every time you obviously make a trade or not make a trade, it is a decision. And also, you're in control of your actions. You're in control of how much food you put in your mouth, obviously, how big you are, and so on. You're in control of all of that, okay? The third principle is that nothing is ever completely negative. Like, there's so many people that get stuck in the victim mindsets where, like, oh, this happened to me, and because this happened to me, I won't be able to do whatever. Like, that's all bullshit. You need to look at your negative event and look at how did that actually help you? How did it serve you? How did it teach you, new skills or bring you new connections? How did you grow out of that? And when you become grateful for everything, instead of being the victim, you now become the hero of your story. Okay. The next one is you need to fall in love with yourself. I mean, there's only one of you on this planet. You are the most incredible person that you'll ever meet in this lifetime. So helping people to realize that they have unlimited potential deep down inside, and just helping to bring that out is one of the most fulfilling things that I do. And the last thing is just you were made, or you were brought onto this earth not to play small, but to live the biggest life you possibly can. If you play small, it's very selfish. Okay, you're not making enough money to contribute to society, to build a legacy, to really make an impact on this world. So, you have to really have a huge vision so that you can carry on just pushing yourself to keep on achieving. Because when you think really small, then you get comfortable, and the comfort zones are killers, not just of dreams and ambitions, but of people's full potential. So I never want to find myself in that position either.
Yeah, I like the points that you actually talked about, because a lot of them actually applies in trading itself, from mastering the perception of a specific situation. And you can either look at the fact that you've lost, some money as a bad thing, or the fact that, you actually learning towards something. And it goes back to being able to be in love with what you're actually doing. If you are enjoying what you're doing, then you're actually doing it for more than just, the money, but you're actually falling in love with the process of becoming that consistent.
That's it. Fall in love with the process, man.
Yeah, fall in love with the process so that, the results come naturally. And when you're going through hard times, you'd be able to remind yourself that the reason that you're actually starting is much more bigger than the negative that you're facing right now, or the losing trades, and keep that why factor in mind, and you're going to be drawn to it and push towards it, And man, you see, that's the reason why we have you on this podcast, is because a lot of those principles that you talk about, apply in trading.
For
you know?
sure.
Because it's a lot of a psychological game. But I feel like along with psychology, there's also a shift that happens with psychology. You know, the beliefs that you believed in around about 10 years ago is not the same beliefs that you believe in around about now. You know, and the fact that you can change your mindset and be able to look at these beliefs and be on some, okay, this was what I thought what it was, but now I'm looking at it from this perspective. Looking at your journey, what sort of beliefs that you have actually changed, you know, from what you believed in then to what you believe in now? Not to say that it's wrong, but obviously growth is taking place, you know?
Sure. So I've got this tattoo on my leg and it says, there are no rules besides the ones I choose to follow. And you know, that's how everybody pretty much lives their life. Like your parents, your teachers, the priests, or whoever it is, you know, came and told you these are the rules, and you decided whether or not you wanted to believe them or not. Now, I don't believe that speed limits are for me, that's for other people, you know? So like there's when you understand just that you're in control of everything, you're in control of the rules that you subordinate to, you know, like billionaires and people that are really successful, they just play by a different set of rules because they just believe differently. You know, a lot of the times you'll meet someone who's really successful financially, runs a massive company, and you'll think, this is the most arrogant person I've ever met. And you would say, because they're rich, they're arrogant. I would rather say, you know, they were arrogant before they became rich, because arrogance is just like an incredible self-belief that I am owed huge success. So I look at arrogant people just as having massive levels of self-belief that they are destined to have whatever. You know, like it's just really setting the bar at what you expect or what you decide is okay for you. Like, what is the minimum expectation you have on your life? You know, if you expect yourself minimum to be a billionaire, then you'll push yourself to have that. But what most people have is just such a low expectation on themselves because they'd rather be stuck in a comfort zone. Because pushing to be a billionaire in this lifetime is a huge, huge task.
Yeah.
It requires so much effort, so much, you know, work and things like that. You know, that most people are actually turned away from that. So they'll say they want to be rich, but their actions show you otherwise.
A conversation that we actually had, going back to that, it has to do with a bit of a mental ceiling that people go through, yeah? I remember, it's nothing wrong, it's part of life itself, you know? I remember some time back I gave you a bit of a sit down and I was telling you about a bit of a ceiling that I was facing whereby I'm making money, but, you know, from trading itself, but I'm not going past a certain level of money, you know? So obviously, you know, as a trader, you start from making maybe, let's say, your first $100 to your first, you know, $1,000 to your first, you know, 5,000, 10,000, and you need to keep on progressing and having this growth that's taking place within your life. And often than not, you do have to go through a lot of breakthroughs, you know? So I had a bit of a sit down with you and you were talking about how, you know, your self-worth of how you see yourself is attached to the amount of money that you're going to be making. And this, you know, connection happens on such a level that you can even sabotage things that are going well because you don't actually believe that you should be making the type of money that you're making. And it's crazy because even in trading itself, you'd be up so much and something would happen and you start losing so much money, you know? I just want, you know, some of the viewers to actually, you know, get to understand this because it helped me, you know, be able to break that ceiling. And once the ceiling was broke, I was able to make even more money than, you know, I initially did before.
Onto the next ceiling, right?
Onto the next level.
Onto the next ceiling, and then you need to like work to break through that shit, and then you have to.
Going.
Yeah, exactly. So what really helps you to break through ceilings is for you to just realize why you deserve the next level. Okay. Some people want the next level, but they're not prepared to put in all of the work and all of the hardship that goes through getting that next level. So you need to like just keep asking yourself, why do I deserve that level? What are the actions that I do? What is my mindset like? Like, what is all the hard work that I've put in to myself that allows me, that helps me to deserve that next level? Because you don't get anything unless you really truly feel like you deserve it. Maybe you'll have like a one-hit wonder where you do happen to go over your ceiling and then, like you were saying, just you sabotage yourself. You're like, oh, this doesn't feel good, or it feels like luck.
Yeah.
So I don't want it to feel like lack. It needs to feel like I deserve this next level, because look at how consistent I am at showing up. Look at how much hard work and effort I've put into learning. Look at my skill set. Look at how persistent I am at not taking trades. Never mind taking trades. To stop yourself obviously from losing and not just like clicking away and losing all of your money. If you look at that and you say, oh, okay, cool. Look at why I deserve to achieve that next level. And it almost becomes effortless to then break through that and to get there.
So once that you start to change that, once you start to look at things from that perspective, then you get to understand that, okay, the ceiling that I thought was a lot of money is not actually a lot of money in comparison to what I think I deserve. I should be, even making more than this. And you start to have a different approach to the mind. And once your psychology changes, you see that through the price action itself, which is the trading, which is exciting. Just to add on to that question, looking at your journey also, is it a matter of the growth happens when it's a bunch of small actions that are accumulating towards, the growth, or is it's all about breakthroughs,
Yeah, man, just fucking break through. Just keep breaking through it. Look, that's one way, but it takes a lot of hard work and effort and willpower and everything just to like run head first into things and just keep breaking through them all the time. But like it leads up to a breakthrough is all of that consistent action, consistent small efforts done every single day, with the best quality work that you could do. It's not just about going through the motions, it's about going through the motions with a bunch of intention behind it. It's a bunch of purpose behind why am I doing this thing. And then over time, the accumulation of taking those small actions with that high quality behind it turns into your breakthrough. So, they both work hand in hand, and without those small efforts, you'll never reach, that final breakthrough. You'll just be hoping that something happens. And like the last time I checked, hoping and praying for something to happen was a losing formula. You got to take action, right? You got to take action.
The same thing in trading. They're like, hope and faith is not a strategy when you're trading. You got to have an actual strategy when you're trading, Talking a bit about, there was one thing that I touched on earlier on. We talked about some of the beliefs that have actually changed from where you are now. What sort of personal growth ideas and concepts that you had early on that you look back on and you're like, okay, I've actually grown from this,
So I think it's just the natural progression of entrepreneurship and the natural progression of growth as a person. And that is, you start off, you have to hustle because you have no resources. And so you have to work 14 hours a day, 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. Like, I know so many entrepreneurs that are there and are busy, hustling like that. Yes, there's definitely a time and a place for that. And if you don't have resources, that's your only option. So just the natural progression is, as I create more revenue and I have more financial leverage, so I can start outsourcing that hustle. So I wouldn't say that hustle culture is dead. There's definitely a place for that. But as you keep progressing, you're supposed to use those resources to free you up so that you can focus on other strategic decisions and strategic things that you're focusing your business on. So I'd say it's not that I don't really do that anymore. It's just what I'm getting to. I don't really hustle 16-hour days anymore. But because I've outsourced a lot of that responsibility to other people to handle that for me. So yes, you get a little bit more clever, but I get a bit more clever with my resources. I can't get too clever if I've got nothing.
Yeah. I remember when you taught me an important lesson, and initially I was making sales. I'm on the top of the leaderboard and everything, and I was very much comfortable with just making money for myself and not actually progressing from that, And you got me to see the bigger picture that, it feels good to do it, but if you can teach somebody and see them make it, it's even better. Yeah. And it's not only just better based on how it feels, but you even showed me the paycheck to show that it was better.
Check, I taught all of these people how to do it, and now look at this. Yeah.
And I'm like, if there ever was a thing that was going to convince me, it was going to be, the balance of it, So I was like, from that point, then I got to understand how to, go out there and actually be, able to teach the next person on how to go about being successful, applying the same principles that I've also learned to the next person and be able to, it's part of the development and growth of a person too, is to teach the next person, I think. What are the 3 most important things that somebody needs to have in life to always be able to, keep growing and developing to the next level?
So I'd say you have to really develop just a thirst for learning. That would be a really important one. So the next one would be self-awareness. So many people just go through their day as zombies, right? So I know, when we're doing sales, right? So you start your day, your first person you speak to, or maybe this is the first trade that you make. You make your first trade and it's a losing trade, and you get the opportunity now to just ask yourself, what did I do well there? What didn't I do well there? And what am I going to make sure I do in the next trade? Or in sales, what would we do in the next interaction? So just that way, you're a lot more conscious and intentional about what you're going to do. You're not just being a zombie. So many people are just like zombies going through their lives, just going through the motions with no intention behind it. Okay, and then the third thing would be just make sure you level up your circle always. Like as soon as you become the sharpest guy in the room, you're in the wrong room. So I love imposter syndrome. I love feeling that because I know, oh man, I better level up so that I can, play the game with these people that I'm hanging around. So if you get excited about that feeling and you constantly look for it, I know you're just leveling up your game all the time.
Thanks a lot for that insight. I think our viewers actually appreciate it very much. Where can they get a hold of you? I'm sure if they're looking at, getting the right person to speak to in terms of, sharpening up their mind, how can they get a hold of you? Tell us a bit about the consulting, yeah?
All right, cool. So you can get me on socials, obviously Grant Sherwood. There's only one of me that looks like this, which is cool. So Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Okay. Look, what I'm doing at the moment is I'm offering people a 12-week Life Accelerator course. Okay, just something with becoming massively successful is you make the internal shift now, and then you see the outer results happen 6 months from now. So just some people that I've taken through my 12-week course have found incredible relationships. Their business have tripled. It's amazing to see. People are just so much more certain in where they're going, their direction, and most importantly, who they are. And they're taking steps every single day in becoming, that incredible version of themselves. So that's what I'm doing right now. And I'm achieving some massive results for that. And, everybody, you won't be the same person
you won't be.
after 12 weeks with me, I can guarantee you that, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So if you're looking at actually trading cryptocurrencies, trading with the best conditions, click onto the link below. We're running an exciting promotion. You get 100% of your initial deposit back into your trading account as equity that you can use. Click onto the link below, sign up, trade with the best conditions, regulated, ODP license, let's get it. Our next guest is making huge moves in the industry. They're going to be right here on the show, dropping bombs, so stay tuned so that you don't miss out and we take our trading to the next level. Hit the notification bell, like and subscribe so that you're up to date with the latest trading topics. This is not financial advice. Trading does involve risk. Make your own research to make the best financial decision for yourself.